Destination divorce. Will your marriage survive retirement? I just discovered that the divorce rate for married couples over the age of 60 is rising faster than any other age group. Wow. I discovered some other things, and I'm going to break them all down in this video. Everyone expects their retirement years to be blissful, like Dan and Joanne, as I describe in this video. But it often doesn't happen by accident. In fact, a New York Times Magazine article confirms what I've personally experienced and witnessed with retired couples. Newsflash, it's not all wine and roses. Spending more time together as a couple in retirement means we're more exposed to those little irritating habits that we easily endure in smaller doses when we're both working. Can you relate? Since 1990, the divorce rate of people over age 50 has doubled. Researchers say gray divorce will triple by 2030. Relationship identity crisis after children leave contributes to the gray divorce. And this trend isn't limited to just the United States, it's happening across the globe. Older couples divorcing used to be rare, but not anymore. Part of it is the stigma of divorce is gone. It used to be taboo, and now it's not. Barbara and Joe had time and money, but they were driving each other crazy. Why? Let's explore. They were two working class divorced people who got married 13 years earlier. Barbara had worked her way up the corporate ladder to become the vice president of a wholesale apparel business, and then moved into retail as she began winding down her career. She sold clothing online as a way to make extra money and give herself something to do. Joe was co-founder of a business that he sold in 2021. The sale meant he'd never need to work again. While laser-focused selling his business, he hadn't given much thought about what his life would look like after it sold. He was at a loss, as I explain in this video. After retirement, Barbara said Joe was always hanging around, often scrolling on his phone for hours on end. He expected her to watch the funny videos he found that made him laugh. And while Barbara loves Joe very much, she was either going to go crazy or go back to work, whichever came first. Can you relate to feeling more irritated with your spouse after retirement? Share your experiences in the comments below. We'd really love to hear from you. A reader of my book, Claim Your Dream Life: How to Retire in Paradise on a Shoestring Budget, contacted me, let's call her Sally, in connection with the question she had about dealing with her husband. Dawn, what if only one of us likes to dream and the other one always says it's not possible, and then I make it possible? How do I work with someone who doesn't have the same dream? Stay till the end to hear my feedback and the top 2 things you can do to avoid divorcing in retirement. Let's look at why we're seeing such high divorce rates among retirees. Well, first of all, retirement is a significant life event, and that just can't be overstated. Empty nest syndrome, infidelity, addiction. It can trigger differences about how to spend free time, values concerning finances. Now you're spending, but you don't have the income. Maybe there are regrets about the past. It could reveal conflicting preferences with respect to travel. Maybe one person wants to travel, the other one doesn't. Where to live? Oh, I got to be by the grandkids. Oh, I want to live overseas. There can be differences of opinion, even in living spaces themselves, when both partners are at home together 24/7. In short, couples may come to realize that they're not living the dream life that they had imagined decades ago when they got married. Instead, many are unhappy and unfulfilled. They want to look to the decades ahead and have a great life. So it could be a choice to pursue personal happiness over the preservation of the marriage. According to John Gottman, founder of the Gottman Institute, a center that's devoted to the study of successful marriages, the most important factor is the quality of the marriage before retirement. The second most important factor is for partners to have or develop strong self-expansion skills. That means the ability to make new friends and a willingness to try or learn new things. I'll also add my own perspective, which I discuss in my book, and that is the role of fundamental interests. This is a concept way back from decades ago when Henry Kissinger was negotiating the famous Middle Eastern peace plan. He looked at the fundamental interests of the parties involved and then dug deep to uncover what do they really want, and then worked out a compromise to satisfy everybody. Now, when I met my husband, Tom, his love for sailing was a fundamental part of his life. He was living on a 30-foot sailboat, he went sailing every weekend, and he was also an international yacht racer. He practiced like 3 or 4 times a week. It was a passion that was a particularly important part of his life. Now, he took me sailing on our first date. He wanted to find out if I got seasick, because if I did, we were just not going to work. Sailing was a fundamental interest Tom had, and fortunately, I passed the test. We both have fundamental interests, and they're complementary. I grew up in Minnesota, so I spent a lot of time on the water, power boats, water skiing, fishing. I don't get seasick. Now, I had a fundamental interest of my own, and I made it crystal clear to Tom once things got serious between us. I hate cold weather and snow. And I told him I didn't want to see snow any closer than the snow-peaked mountaintops I could see in the distance when I lived in Orange County. Now, Tom was a Black Diamond expert skier, but he decided his knees weren't that good anymore, so he traded Black Diamond runs for tennis and golf. Now, we have friends from Minnesota who make it work by spending winters in Mexico. He hates the cold. She doesn't care for the tropics. She likes a cooler climate, but she knows how unhappy her husband is in winter in Minnesota. So she's willing to sacrifice a little bit of discomfort for 3 months so that he can escape the cold. It's a compromise they've made that makes them both happy. Now let's return to Sally. Dawn, what if only one of us likes to dream and the other one always says it's not possible? How do I work with someone who doesn't have the same dream? Now, honestly, I replied back to her and I said, I think you already know the answer. She said that she didn't. So I said, Sally, it seems to me you have 3 choices. Number 1, you can abandon your dreams. Number 2, you can find a new partner. Or number 3, you can do what you want to do without him. I've seen partners take each one of those options in different circumstances. None are ideal, but investing in your marriage before retirement is the best way to stay married, or at least find out what you're in for before the relationship identity crisis appears. So leave your tips and advice in the comments if you have anything to add. But in short, to avoid divorce and retirement, invest in your marriage early and understand your and your partner's fundamental interests and try to work out a compromise. Stay tuned for more tips on making the most of your retirement. And for more in-depth advice, check out my book. The link is in the comment. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications for more content as it becomes available. And finally, remember to dream big and act on it daily. Bye for now.